Bliss, everyone. Bliss, bliss, bliss. Rissa Vibes here, aka Readings by Rissa. So excited to connect with you as always. Today is a brand new weekly reading, and we are right here to tap into the energy of this week. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm so excited to jump right in. If you haven't been watching my readings lately, you might not know that I've been switching it up a lot. I've been pulling cards as we go through all of the messages that I receive via my downloads and meditation, my connection to the Mass Collective as I read it every week, and just the way in which I consistently do readings and see the patterns in the Mass Collective from that as well. So we're going to tap into all of the energy of this week going forward. We are tapping into June 27th to July 4th. We are in a brand new month this week, and it is so exciting to be able to shift into a new energy. In June, we had the Blessings of Al-Hakim card, really encouraging us to work for the blessings that we know we deserve and to receive the blessings we earn from the work that we do. And now we are moving from that into the energy of Stay Connected. Stay Connected card was the card for this month of July 2021, when I pulled cards for each month of 2021 in the annual reading that I did at the beginning of the year. Make sure to check that out if you want to, because there's a lot of these in there as well. And you can kind of track all the ways in which you've shifted and transformed from that reading as it's happened, as we've gone through it. So as you join here, let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, where you're tuning in from. I am in my Arizona set right now, so I'm still in AZ until tomorrow, but it is such a good vibe to be able to be here and to still do these weekly readings no matter where I am. So let me know where you're at and how you're feeling today. All right, so let's do a little bit of review last week so that we know where we're kind of coming from and what energy we're jumping off from. We just had the Capricorn full moon on, what was that, Thursday night, the 24th, and that was a powerful moon really grounding us into more of our emotions with the Cancer season just started and really allowing us to kind of ground in from the airiness of the Gemini season that we just left. So we're integrating that moon, and I'll talk a little bit about that throughout the week and this reading. The other aspect of last week that we're coming off of is following your dreams, really understanding the fullness of following your dreams and what it takes to do so. Also having our mindfulness tool belt ready for us at all times and using it for what we need it for, instead of just kind of going through the motions and continuing looping through cycles of things that we don't want to experience without actually using the resources that we've gained to cope with it. And then we also talked about gratitude for God last week and that energy of being grateful and inspired by the ways in which you are already abundant, and knowing that as you are inspired and grateful, you become even more abundant and prosperous. All right. So this week we are tapping into even more energy. I titled this week's reading Ego Death because it is real, y'all. We are definitely all undergoing our own version of ego death right now. And it is something that we're going to continue to experience throughout this week. Let me know if the chat's working, everybody. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat. It might just be because nobody's chatting, but I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I just found it. Wow. I was missing something. There's a bunch of chats here. So good that you're all joining me. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. Good to see you, Marie. Good to see you, Megan. So happy to see you, Kevin. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I see all of you here. It's nice to see you. Yeah, sending you some energy, Marie, from you feeling exhausted. I definitely understand. Yeah, so let's talk about this ego death stuff. Okay, we're going to just jump right in. This is going to be the first message of this week. Now, the ego death energy is really strong right now, and it's causing us all to feel a little on edge because we're all being pushed to surrender our ego from the things that we have been so focused on. There's energy of kind of retaliation in that ego death as well. So what is an ego death? Well, an ego death is when we start to recognize where our ego has been getting in the way of our success and our abundance and our soul purpose and soul power. And we start to watch it crumble. The ego has to crumble a lot of times because it gets over amplified due to conditioning in society, conditioning of our upbringing, experiences that we go through that shift our energy into more ego response. And so when we are in that energy, when it gets expended and over exhausted and overexpressed, the ego has to start to die. It has to crumble. It has to get tamed. Okay. And we don't kill off the ego completely. We don't eliminate the ego from our being, because the ego does serve a purpose at times. It helps us to survive. It helps us to kind of protect ourselves when we need it. But it's not always useful. In fact, it's only useful about 10% of the time, if that, okay? So we want to allow ourselves to surrender our ego, especially when we're having ego death weeks like this one, where we're really seeing where our ego is holding us, has a grip on us, where it's keeping us back from our prosperity. So ego death is a real thing right now. And it's so important to not let pride and ego get in the way of your success, okay? Now, where can you recognize ego? Okay, ego is pretty much anywhere you can look. We see ego in resentment. We see ego in judgment. We see ego when we are in a place of helplessness or hopelessness, even because we are kind of expecting others to cater to what we can do for ourselves, right? And so there's a lot of ego around all of those trauma bonds that we form in our life, abandonment, neglect, narcissism, all of these things can create an overabundance of ego. And that energy ends up being very toxic to our well-being, okay? So we're being called to surrender our ego and allow the ego death that we are meant to have. So pay attention, because, we talked a lot about inner child healing last week. We talked a lot about just healing in general last week. We've talked about shadow work all year. We know that this is a shadow work year. And so that means, okay, this is also where we see ego. It means knowing that you're not the only one suffering. It means knowing that you're evolving because you might be suffering, because you might be going through something. You have this opportunity to evolve. It's also understanding that your temper tantrum about the work isn't actually changing anything, right? So you have to do the work. Fighting it, being sad about it, being in your ego about it, being poor me about it, is not going to allow you to change in the ways that you need to change for your highest good. What will it take for you to take responsibility for the work you need to do? What kind of motivation, what kind of self-worth, what kind of self-gratitude and appreciation will it take for you to feel like it's worth it to do the work for yourself, to be your best self, right? That's where we're at right now. And like I said last week, Spirit has a no tolerance policy, which means that anybody that is aligned to their spirit and really doing more of their conscious work, or just being more conscious, or allowing themselves to open up to more awareness of energy and their own experience in it, the more that we do that, the more we are going to have the opportunity to do the work, the soul work we need to do. So if you're feeling the ego death, if you're feeling the shadow work, that means that you have opened up your consciousness enough to start the process of becoming your best self. So why throw a fit about it? Why get upset about it? Why get in your feels about it? Why not just buckle up your bootstraps, pull up your big girl panties, or big boy panties, or big boy, boxers, I guess, and get to work, right? Because it's really for you. It's really so that you can be your best self. Isn't that worth it? Isn't it worth doing the work instead of complaining about it, so that not only you can receive the benefit for doing the work, but also so that you can do the work on limiting your complaining, right? It's all connected. It's all in one, okay? So we're asking Spirit what we need to do to help us through this ego death. And Spirit says, intention. Set the intention. Look how beautiful that card is. Just this light coming from behind her, and this sureness, this confidence on her face, her knowing. And it doesn't look easy, right? Her face doesn't look like she's happy or that things are easy. She looks focused. She looks determined, right? It takes a determination. It takes a force, an energy of force, in order to shift and change things, okay? And when we get stuck in our suffering, or when we get stuck in our ego around our suffering, or around our, narrow-mindedness, or around our judgments, or whatever it is, we end up really limiting ourselves. And when we limit ourselves like that, we cannot grow. Okay. So when we are going through that, it isn't easy. it does require focus. It does require a sense of energetic force. You have to muster up an energetic force to create the change. It's not just going to happen for you. The intention starts to build momentum to the force. And the message itself says, lacking personal direction begets confusion and life as a pawn to someone else's game of chess. Okay, so that means that when we don't have a intentional direction of where we want to go or who we want to become or what we want to do work on to be better, then we become confused. And then we end up becoming a pawn to somebody else's plan for us, to somebody not source, but somebody, a man, a woman, a person, a human, right, on this planet, or a system or a program or a company or whatever it is. But we become subject to someone else's plan for us that is not divine. Okay. And so we really have to set intentions. If you're noticing ego death, if you're noticing shadow work, instead of getting upset about it and being, oh, poor me about it, set an intention for what you want to feel differently. Become an emotional investigator to your energy and start to understand, why do you feel that way? What triggered it? When? How did it happen? How did it unfold? How did you process it to get it to that point? And why is the ego so amplified now? And how can you reverse all that amplification momentum that you created? How can you create momentum, create a force of momentum for the opposite, for the change that you want to see? Okay? It's so important. There's no tolerance for spirit. Okay? No tolerance for spirit. That means that we are going to be met consistently with these challenges over and over and over again to show us where our ego is clinging to us, to show us where our shadow is clinging to us, and to get us to do the work to change it. And if we don't create that momentum of change and force of energy to shift it, we're going to keep getting hit harder and harder and harder. And it sucks. It doesn't feel good. I know it's hard. But guess what? You're strong enough. Because Source gave it to you because it knows that you're strong enough. So prove to yourself and to Source that you honor yourself the way that Source does. And do the work. Cry it out, journal it out, meditate it out, investigate it out, talk to your friends about it, ask them if they've seen you in your ego and what they think you could do to better change it. Because a lot of times other people outside of us, especially the ones closest to us, have a much clearer visual or vision or awareness or perspective on our egos and our shadows than we do, because they're able to see it more clearly because they're not defensive against it like we are, right? So ask your friends, ask your mentors, ask the people around you. What do you notice about my ego? What do you notice about my shadow? What do you notice about how I'm creating it? And how do you think I can help myself? And they'll help you. Reach out, okay? Use your mindfulness tool belt. And that leads me to my next message of community. Community and soul tribe closeness is essential right now. We are in a place in time where things are transforming and changing and shifting and shaking up in ways that we have not experienced in so long in our human history. And so when we go through these kind of huge transformations on a mass collective scale, community and closeness with our soul tribe is the most helpful thing in the world. It literally gives us life because we recognize we're not alone on this planet here with our soul tribe and our community, and not alone with our spirit team and divine source above and Mother Gaia below. But having that physical representation of support from our community and our soul tribe is essential. And really allow yourself to relax into that, to sink into it, to enjoy it fully, and to really heal any wounds around it. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and it's coming up again this week because people need it most right now. The lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, this Capricorn full moon we just had, the energy of all the retrogrades we're going through right now, it is not easy on the spirit. It is not easy on the emotional body, the mental body, or the physical body. And when we go through things that are difficult, that everybody else is going through in their own way, it's coming together that allows us to receive medicine and healing, because it's connection that becomes our medicine and healing. Connection and being able to talk it out, vent it out, share inspirational, motivational messages to help encourage us to pull ourselves out of it. And to know, like I said, that we're not alone. The card that comes up for this message is Dream Talk. And I really love this card because it's funny. I was kind of asking Spirit to give us a little bit of a message about what we need to do or how we can move forward if we feel like our soul tribe or our community is not available to us right now. Maybe you haven't met your soul tribe yet. Maybe you haven't found a community that really feels good yet. Maybe you're feeling a little void in that area and you know you want that connection, but you're not having it. You're not finding it. If that's the case, use some Dream Talk. That is going into the dream state, going into your sleep state. And before sleep, setting the intention, right? Just like our first card, setting the intention of, I want to connect to my soul tribe. I want to find my community. I want to find the people that are on this planet that are meant for me to be supported by and for me to support them through this journey, right? And as you set that intention before you go to sleep and as you drift off to sleep, maybe light some mugwort next to your bed or have a crystal for dream work next to your bed. I'm trying to think of a good crystal for dream work. Probably howlite. I think howlite would be good. There's a couple others too, but I think howlite would be good. Labradorite is always nice too. And moonstone is good too. But put a crystal by your bed, light some mugwort, set the intention before sleeping, and then drift into sleep. And you may have to do this a few times to get it to really happen, but you'll start to notice that your dream state becomes different, maybe a little bit more active as you're dreaming, maybe a little bit more lucid as you're dreaming. Maybe you start to meet people you've never met before in your dreams. Maybe you start to feel that closeness and community connection that you're craving, but you feel it in your dream state. You have a dream about community. You have a dream about your soul tribe. You have a dream about feeling that energy. And that is you talking to your soul tribe in the dream state. And you can connect to them there. And as you do, as you practice this and as you call them in, you're actually creating a magnet to receiving those types of connections in the physical realm. So a lot of times we don't receive what we want because we haven't reached out for it. And so that's what this card is saying. Reach out for your soul tribe and for your community in the dream realm and allow it to come to you. It says your subconscious constantly and subtly speaks through your dreams. It is one of the many ways in which your soul and those here in the spirit world can reach out and communicate with you through signs, symbols, messages, and more. So right there, this is how we can create that communication with community and soul tribe through Dream Talk and through setting that intention, lighting some mugwort, like I said, or some sage by your bed. And of course, burning it out before. Don't go to sleep with it burning. Don't do that. And, maybe a crystal or two for dream work. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about no tolerance policy. We did talk about the force for change, but I want to talk a little bit more about that and the no tolerance policy from spirit and from us. And so I want to pull a card on this actually, because it feels really present right now to ask spirit. Sorry, I feel like my cards are all over the place, you guys. Here we go. Really asking spirit for helping us to understand more of the no tolerance policy and the energy of force for change. I'm going to pull one card from the Goddess Isis deck and then one card from the Shadow Work deck. So right now I'm just asking spirit to give us a little bit more clarity on how we can move through this no tolerance policy from spirit, how we can really gain more awareness and clarity on how we can move through that energy. It says the Dark Healing Chamber card. This is what we're moving through, the Dark Healing Chamber. And it says, the most challenging task is to take courage in both hands and journey within to meet your own dark self and begin the healing task of bringing love, acceptance, and light to it. The sacred purpose of any enemy, within or without us, is to push us to venture inwards, to seek and heal the darkness within. That is our force for change. That is the no tolerance policy from spirit. It's a no tolerance policy to heal the dark self within. so that we can create the force for change that we need by having love and acceptance and light be brought to that dark part of ourselves, and to go inward to seek and heal that darkness unapologetically and courageously. Wow, how beautiful is that? How beautiful that Goddess Isis can just give us such a strong message. I actually don't even think I need to pull a shadow work card for that, because it was pretty much all in one. All right, that was pretty amazing. Let me know how you're feeling from these cards, everyone. Let me know how you're feeling from these messages. Susan says the shadow work to be done for me is pretty deep this time. Yes, understand it. Yes, and oftentimes it has to be deep. The more that we evolve, the deeper it goes. But the stronger we get and the better we are at moving through it. Yes, finding new soul tribe. So beautiful. So beautiful that you've had your soul tribe for so long, Kevin, as well. It's so, so amazing. Love none of you really age. Yeah, keeping that inner child alive. I love that. All right, everybody. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next message. Now, with all of this shadow work, all of this kind of bringing light to the surface, Spirit wanted me to pose a question. And the question is, what harsh realities are hitting you right now? What harsh realities are hitting you right now? This is a time where we are met with harsh realities based on that Neptune retrograde I talked about last week. And it is happening. I think it happened yesterday or the day before yesterday. And so very strong Neptune retrograde energy, where Neptune is releasing our connection to the illusions, or our attachments to the illusions and delusions and fantasies that just aren't real. And we're starting to notice the harsh reality of the truth. What harsh reality is hitting you? What do you need to see? What do you need to notice? What have you not been paying attention to? Or what have you been building an illusion around that is now hitting you really deeply with reality? Okay. This understanding is what I'm going to pull the shadow work card on. But this understanding is so important because Spirit's really giving us an opportunity here. It's peeling back the curtain and it's showing us what's really there. And it's not sugarcoating it. And that's a really beautiful thing. Even though it can be hard, even though it can be frustrating, even though it can be scary, it's actually such a beautiful thing. Because if we didn't have that information, we'd just be walking blindly into stuff, right? And so we're really grateful that we can have these harsh realities hit us so that we can do what we need to do to move through them and to act accordingly and to protect ourselves, right? And so what harsh realities are hitting you and how can we move through this? It says assistance with access. This card is really beautiful. I don't think I've ever pulled this card from the Lantern deck before. Look how beautiful that card is. Thank you for the super chat donation, Marie. So grateful. Yeah, so this card, really understanding the harsh realities that are hitting us and coping with that through assistance with access. And it says it is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. Okay. So when we are moving through harsh realities and where we're noticing that we have had some fantasies or illusions around things, and we're starting to recognize the truth, we have to literally ask for help. We have to literally reach out to the resources that we know we need to help mend our understanding, to help us cope through that processing, to help us align to this new awareness. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes support. It takes communication and community and connection to really be able to accept things when they change like that, and to really have a clarity about it that feels grounded and secure. Okay. So any harsh realities that you're facing or realizing or having to grow through right now, face it, trust that those are there for a reason, and ask for the help that you need to move through it and cope through it the way that you know you need to. Maybe you need to cope by reaching out and getting some sound healing. Maybe you want to cope by reaching out and getting some counseling or therapy. Maybe you want to move through it by reaching out and doing some traveling, right? Going on an adventure, doing some soul searching. Whatever it is that you need, maybe going to the gym or eating differently, right? But honor the harsh realities that are hitting you and do what you need to do to get more aligned to what you want the truth to be. And reach out for the help you need to make it happen, because obviously it hasn't worked You haven't had the support you needed so far, and what you've done hasn't worked so far. So do something different. Reach out for help. Ask for the assistance you need. And use your intuitive nudges for this, okay? Use your intuition. We really want to let ourselves have our intuition guide us through the next phases of our growth based on what we're seeing about ourselves. If we're seeing that we have a fear of success or a fear of failure, reach out to someone who you know is an expert at overcoming that, or who has overcome that in their own life. And then allow yourself to follow your intuition on who that person is, right? Which person that is the right one to teach you, right? What method, what process, what YouTube video or TED Talk is going to get you to feel better. Use your intuitive nudges, but you also have to be that investigator yourself. You also have to kind of put yourself out there and look for the solutions. They're not just going to come to you and land on your lap. You've got to go out and look for the solutions and use your intuition to guide you in that. That's the importance of staying connected. We pulled the Stay Connected card for July in the annual reading, and this is really powerful because we are called to stay connected right now. We just received blessings from a lot of the work we did, but we have to ground those blessings in all the way by regaining our connection, making sure we maintain it deeply, and we do the work within ourselves to keep activating deeper connection to spirit, deeper connection to our intuition, deeper connection to our soul power, and all of our guides that are helping us to walk the path to do so. Okay? So powerful. Yes, currently accepting applications for new soul tribe. I love that. I love that. Yes, I agree. I feel like that is definitely something we all need too, because, you know, we can really love our soul tribe that we have, but also still crave more connection or different connection or deeper connection. And so really allowing ourselves to ask for what we need and not to get upset when we don't see it in the people around us, but instead have that be our motivation to cultivate it, either with those same people or with others, because we need it. Okay. All right, next message is prayers. Prayers for Surfside condo collapse. I heard about this recently, and it's just so sad. So many people, 156, I believe, that are missing still. 9 dead already confirmed, and just sending love and light and prayers and just support, energetic support, emotional support to all of the victims and their families and anyone else who is affected by this. All the workers, you know, rummaging through the rubble and all the energy around that. We're just sending love and light to them, and we're praying for everyone, all the people in that collapse to be found and to be, to be taken back to their homes and honored and laid to rest if that is the outcome. And, you know, just whoever else is there who may be surviving in that rubble, we pray for their life, light, energy to continue to burn bright, and for them to be found, and for their energy to beam and magnetize the rescue workers who are looking for them so that they can be found. So just honoring that, yeah. It's been a crazy ride with everything, all these crazy things, unexpected things happening, natural disasters, unexpected tragedies. We really are in a changing of times where there's so much unexpected death and destruction. And I got a message about this from my new guide, the Bone Shaman, and I'll be working a lot with him and maybe channeling him through soon on my OnlyFans page, because I'm going to be doing my channelings again soon. But he talks about the death portal and the energy of that. And I actually have a QHT session I did with a lot of his messages. So I will be sharing that very soon. I actually already have the clips. So I will be sharing that on my OnlyFans very soon, and probably a little mini clip on my YouTube channel. But lots of energy with that, because there is a lot of death happening, and it is because there's souls that just have decided they're not here for this transition. That's part of their soul contract, that they would be, they would be the ones to kind of balance out energy. That's the card I just pulled. balance out the energy and to kind of leave this earth so that they can give more space for others to enter this earth. And also this energy of kind of balancing the vibration in a way. I'll get more into that later, but it's kind of that life and death, right? Death and rebirth, right? And so that balance is necessary. In order for rebirth to happen on a mass collective scale, death has to happen, right? And so we're kind of experiencing that death portal. And so we're just sending love and light to all of those who have transitioned recently, and just giving comfort to those who are in transition currently, and all of us affected by that. We send love, and we are not alone. We are in it together. Keep nurturing your light, keep staying protected with your energy, keep being observant of everything around you. Don't doubt your intuition, especially when it feels like it's a survival mechanism or it's something that's going to protect you, because our intuition is our strongest survival skill. And I keep saying that because this year more than ever, it has been, and it will continue to be more and more of our survival skill as we continue to move through the duality and contrast and the death and destruction needed to rebirth and emerge new as a collective. And so honor that. Be on the lookout for anything that it doesn't feel right, and pay attention and trust it. And if you need more help developing your intuition, please reach out to me, because I do offer readings, I offer coaching, and I offer lots of other ways to tap into your intuition as well. I'll be doing more workshops very soon. I'll be doing more free masterclass events. I'll be doing more posts on my OnlyFans for content about intuition development. And I'll also be releasing some really exciting things this summer to help you tap into your intuition even more. So just be on the lookout for that. And I cannot wait to share it all with you. And if you haven't already joined my email list, make sure you join my email list down below. I have not been as active on my email list as I've needed to be the last few months, but I am about to get really active on that because it's just necessary. I'm also hiring. The Rissa Vibes brand is hiring. So if you are interested in being a virtual assistant or an assistant, or just joining the team at all, please reach out to me, especially if you have expertise or soul purpose in assistantship or in branding or social media or anything like that, virtually, email listing. I definitely need some assistance there. So please reach out if you're interested. There are some perks available for you. This is a offer. This is a employment offer. So we can talk about a energy exchange as well for this. And it's really important to have the right people working for me. So I am accepting, applications, I guess I should say, or just people who are interested, and we'll kind of go through the process of seeing if we're the right fit. All right. So if you're interested, email me readingsbyrissa@gmail.com. Let's talk a little bit about the astrology influences, and then we'll pull the last bit of cards and we'll be on our way. All right. So we have some astrology influences this week, and it's really not too intense other than what we're integrating, but we do have one influence today that I'll talk about as well. So of course, we talked a little bit about full moon at Capricorn integration from last week. So we are allowing ourselves to ground more into our emotions, sift through the emotions we feel so that we can really honor them and do the work to move through them appropriately. And that integration is going to feel a little bit weird because we are in Cancer season. So we're in a lot of flow and watery energy, but we're also being forced to create organization and structure around things with the Capricorn. And so that might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but it will be so great for us. Then the Neptune retrograde integration, like I said, the harsh realities, really integrating that and allowing that to be something that you pay attention to, something that you kind of nurture and cope with your own mindfulness tool belt. And then Venus enters Leo today. And that energy is pretty powerful. We're going to see dramatic love vibrations and excitement. And we're going to be encouraged to live courageously and to lead with our heart with this Venus entering Leo. And it'll be in Leo for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we're going to feel a lot of that love amplification. I want to pull a quick card for that energy. The astrology of Venus entering Leo. What spirit totem do we most want to embody? The independent cat. What a cute card. I love cat cards. The independent cat. That's the energy we want to embody for this Venus entering Leo. Allow yourself to be independent in your heart's journey and in your heart's kind of exploration and adventure, you know, the way in which your heart leads you. Be independent in that. Let yourself stand firm in that. It says, you are a natural healer. Your intuition is strong. You don't have to go with the crowd. Life supports you in every way. So lead with your heart. Be courageous that you don't have to go with the crowd, that your intuition is leading you. It is strong and it has got your back. And allow yourself to tap into those natural healing abilities that you have. All right, the last thing I want to do, which I haven't been doing, but now that I've switched things up, I think it's really beautiful to do. I'm going to do a little review of each card, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull a beginning of the week, middle of the week, and end of the week card as we used to do, because I think that that's still very helpful. You know, all these cards kind of deepen our awareness of the messages that I receive in my meditations and my own intuitive connection. But then we get to also do a nice little chronological summary of the cards with beginning, middle, and end of the week. All right. So real quick, let's just review what we've already got. I like to have the messages out. I keep closing my book today. I guess I don't want my book. So with the intention card, this was the energy of ego death. How do we cope through and move through and allow our ego death? Set the intention for it. Set the intention for it. Then for community and soul tribe closeness, we are encouraged to do some dream talk to bring our soul tribe and community in. And then honoring the force for change and no tolerance policy, the alchemy that is needed to allow ourselves to become our best selves by journeying into the dark healing chamber, and really noticing that it's important for us to go within, and that these challenges or these feelings of enemies outside of us or within us are only there for us to have the sacred purpose of shining light, acceptance, and love into our being for soul growth. And then we have this beautiful assistance with access card. This card was all about the harsh realities. What harsh realities are we facing, and how can we ask for assistance to help us move through them, to clear any illusions and to cope with any real reality that we need to understand. And then understanding the death portal energy, knowing that there is balance here in rebirth and death, understanding that there is tragedy around and continuing, but there is a purpose behind it, even though it's so hard sometimes. And then for our astrological influences, particularly Venus entering Leo, we have the independent cat, being a natural healer, strong intuition, and being unapologetic and not following the crowd. All right, let's finish things up with a beginning of the week card. Let me know how these messages have resonated with you. Let me know what messages hits most for you. What message really hit your soul? What message did you need most from this reading? Share it with me in the comments. I want to know, because I think a lot of us will probably have similar answers, because we are so connected with this love of light community that we have here. And end of the week card from our Healing with the Angels deck. Love it. All right, loves. Let's see. Beginning of the week. We just got this message as well. Reach out for community, reach out for assistance, reach out for help in the things that you need help with in regards to the harsh realities you've been facing and the shadow work and ego death you've been experiencing. Reach out for that community, reach out for those resources, reach out for that healing. Okay. It says, we know you're reaching out right now for help due to a current situation. Support is as much about the physical act of accepting help where offered as it is about the emotional benefits and learning that it's truly okay to accept support however it's presented to you. So accept support and help in the beginning of the week. This is most important, okay? Middle of the week card. Most important focus is our perspective, really making sure that we're looking at things clearly, especially that ego, death, and shadow work stuff, and really making sure that we're going within to investigate our emotions and do the things we need to do to evolve through it instead of looping through the same experiences. And it says a calm and clear mind is free to see differently. So if you're having a hard time seeing things differently, it means that you don't have a calm and clear mind. So go back to your mindfulness tool belt and do what you need to do to get your mind calm and clear so that you can actually shift your perspective. And then the end of the week card, if we do all of that work and stay focused on that, we are going to receive blessings at the end of the week. So be on the lookout for all of the abundance and prosperity coming to you because you stepped up and did what you need to do to cope and move and grow through all these challenges and ego death vibes, okay? Trust me, the other side of any death is enlightenment. It is bliss. It is freedom. It is light and love and abundance, okay? So I promise you it's worth it when you really honor what you need to do to heal and to tame the ego and to kind of emerge better you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know how you are liking these readings now that I've switched it up a little bit. It's been really fun to pull cards throughout and to also do the summary cards at the end now. So fun. So let me know if you need anything. And also, I'm still offering the Letting Go workshop for only $222. It's usually priced at $333, but I'm still offering it $222 because it feels that important, okay? I just think it's something that I'm probably going to offer for the rest of the summer at $222. But I'll see. It's really up to Spirit how long it wants me to keep this offer going. But if you are interested in the Letting Go workshop, it is a workshop that has been formulated all with pre-recorded meditations, journal prompts, affirmations, card pulls, all of the things. And a nice few, there's like, I think 3 lectures, 9 meditations, and a ton of journal prompts and affirmation and card pulls all in one. And it's all pre-recorded. It's all virtual. So you get to just receive it in your email and work through the program at your own pace. But it was designed for a 3-day program, so you can kind of work through it each day. But it's really up to you. So yeah, that way you could just have it and you can use it whenever and forever. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. It's only $222 to receive it. And you can email me readingsbyrissa@gmail.com to receive it. Also, make sure that if you love music, and music tends to be a really healing energy for you, I do have my new album, Hippie Vixen, out on all streaming services, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Tidal, Spotify, all of the things, okay? The album is on. So if you want some activation in your soul and some healing vibrations musically, you can definitely get that from Hippie Vixen. All right? I love you all so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And just reach out if you need anything else. It's been so nice to connect with all of you. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Peace.